Let's keep talking about San Francisco's future and revival right now with Natalie Sandoval, Executive Director of the Urban Land Institute San Francisco, a network of cross-disciplinary real estate land use experts, which is working towards this exact goal, this rejuvenation. Maybe it's a PR effort, maybe it's a reality effort that people haven't been coming back to San Francisco proper in terms of the office space. What was it? 30% of office space just unleased as it stands. Is that changing at all, Natalie?
Yeah, thank you for inviting me. I think, ULI recently brought together a group of national experts from around the country to talk about just that, downtown revitalization and, what can be the future for San Francisco. And what was interesting is we had all of these folks come in from around the country expecting this horrid environment, and really they were surprised. They were like, it's not that bad. And with every crisis comes opportunity. And I really do think coming out of the recommendations from this panel, there really is a lot of opportunity for downtown San Francisco, particularly thinking about how we can diversify the mix of uses to really make it a great neighborhood.
Natalie, good morning. You're over in Oakland. I'm here in San Francisco. I just want to go back on what you just said. So earlier this year, ULI convened this group of people, and you basically showed them San Francisco. And they were pleasantly surprised, I understand, on the health and state of this city. I started this week by speaking to the mayor and said, look, everyone is asking how you were suddenly able to clear up the city in a week because the president is in town and the president of China is in town. To be very clear, your findings well before APEC were that San Francisco is making improvement.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that the narrative around San Francisco and the doom loop is really a narrative that isn't quite accurate. I think the city has actually been hard at work at making changes for a while now. And particularly, our work has been focused on the financial district of downtown San Francisco, and that's where our panelists spent their time. And there was really a general consensus that it felt pretty clean and safe. There was some activity on the street. It obviously wasn't exactly like it was in the pre-pandemic days. There's still some work to be done on the kind of gateways and the connectors to the financial district of downtown San Francisco. But I do think that the city has been hard at work making some changes well in advance of APEC coming to town. APEC coming to town, just like any city, when they're going to have a global spotlight on them, are going to go through some, more extreme measures to clean up the city. And I think that's only a good thing for San Francisco.
Everyone loves a bit of schadenfreude. Everyone loves to sit in one city and badmouth another. And I am interested, though, it was but a few months ago that I was in San Francisco, walking across that very street that we just saw in the Embarcadero, and I'm afraid there were still so many signs of such sadness, people still very much living on the street, a lot of what people call tent city. How is there a long-term ultimate fix to that? And how do we start to see some of the areas of focus really feel rejuvenated, not only on Market Street, but more broadly when it comes to art, to culture, and really what makes a city thrive?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that when we're talking about downtown, the financial district in particular, it's really been a single-use district. It's been commercial office and catering to people from the 9 to 5. So I think the first step there, and this is what our panelists found, is we really need to think about diversifying this area, which, bringing in residential is, one piece of that puzzle. But conversion isn't a silver bullet. All of these buildings can't be turned to housing, but, it will help not only with our housing crisis, but to diversify the area in downtown. But you can't just fill a bunch of these office spaces with housing units and call it a day.
Well, Natalie, I just reflect, look, I am a resident of San Francisco and I work in San Francisco. And, a lot of the doom loop discussion, that is not universally the experience of everyone that lives here, right? There's a lot that's good about this city. But you just made a point on diversify. And the neighborhood you're talking about, Uber, Salesforce, X, the company formerly known as Twitter, it is still largely tech, or it's vacant. Is AI changing that?
I'm not an expert on what's going to happen with AI. I know there's a lot of hope for AI. There is still, San Francisco has been the tech center of the world for a number of years. I don't think that's going to change. I think that AI will likely be interested in coming to San Francisco. But I also think other things and other types of businesses need to come to San Francisco. And the city is working on figuring out how to incentivize those other types of businesses to be interested as well. And it's not only these big companies. We're also talking about San Francisco locally made businesses to support the arts and culture, as you said earlier, and bring them to downtown.